Imagine building the biggest, most luxurious home in America, only to watch it slowly devour your entire bloodline. This 250-room palace in the Blue Ridge Mountains wasn't just a Vanderbilt dream. It became their nightmare. Welcome to the dark side of Biltmore Estate. The walls here don't just whisper, they scream. In the shadow of the Blue Ridge Mountains stands a monument to unimaginable wealth. Biltmore Estate stretches across 8,000 acres of carefully sculpted land, 250 rooms filled with masterpieces from Europe and ancient treasures. George Washington Vanderbilt II poured his fortune into this palace. He wanted to create an American Versailles in the heart of North Carolina. Construction began in 1889 and lasted 6 long years. Hundreds of workers labored to realize his extravagant vision. Yet, from the very beginning, death followed closely behind the project. A young British architect suddenly fell ill and died during construction. Multiple workmen lost their lives in strange accidents on the property. Some locals began to whisper about an ancient mountain curse. When the house finally opened in 1895, it was magnificent. George hosted lavish parties for presidents and European royalty. His wife Edith seemed to bring light to the dark corridors at first. Construction began in 1889 and lasted 6 long years. Hundreds of workers labored to realize his extravagant vision. Yet, from the very beginning, death followed closely behind the project. A young British architect suddenly fell ill and died during construction. Multiple workmen lost their lives in strange accidents on the property. Some locals began to whisper about an ancient mountain curse. When the house finally opened in 1895, it was magnificent. George hosted lavish parties for presidents and European royalty. His wife, Edith, seemed to bring light to the dark corridors at first. But tragedy refused to stay outside the marble walls for long. Their only daughter, Cornelia, was born inside Biltmore in 1900. Soon afterward, George Vanderbilt began suffering mysterious health problems. Doctors could never explain the constant fatigue and pain he endured. In 1914, George died suddenly at the age of 51. Many believed the house itself had drained the life from its master. Edith Vanderbilt was left to manage the enormous estate alone. Servants reported hearing footsteps in empty hallways after dark. Cold spots appeared in the grand library where George once read. One maid claimed she saw a man in old-fashioned clothes watching her. The Vanderbilt family curse seemed to take root at Biltmore. George's siblings and their descendants suffered endless misfortune. Train wrecks, plane crashes, financial ruin, and early deaths followed them. By the 1950s, the family had lost most of their wealth. The house that was meant to be their crown became their burden. Today, visitors report overwhelming feelings of being watched. Tour guides tell stories of objects moving by themselves at night. The swimming pool area is particularly active with ghostly activity. People hear laughter of children who never lived in the mansion. The basement tunnel system creates extreme dread for sensitive visitors. Some psychics refuse to enter certain wings of the estate. Edith's bedroom sometimes smells strongly of her favorite perfume. Security cameras have captured unexplained shadows moving through rooms. Is Biltmore simply haunted, or did something darker attach itself? The land was once considered sacred by local indigenous tribes. disturbing 8,000 acres may have awakened something ancient. Or perhaps the sheer weight of greed and excess created its own demon. Either way, the house continues collecting its payment in souls. Next time you see photos of its beautiful gardens, remember the price. The Vanderbilts built their palace to last forever. Instead, it became a monument to how quickly fortunes can die. Biltmore doesn't just stand in the mountains. It waits patiently for its next victim to walk through its doors. What other rich houses should we expose in future videos? Drop your requests below and research the Vanderbilt curse yourself. The more you dig, the darker this story actually becomes.